Some betrayals don't just hurt, they redefine who you are. They shatter your peace, poison your trust, and burn everything you once believed in. Forgiveness may be divine, but when the same hand that once comforted you becomes the one that stabs you, silence becomes wisdom, and walking away becomes strength. If someone breaks your trust with full awareness, that's not a mistake, it's a message. And the Stoic answer is never to let that message repeat. Welcome to Stoic Blend, where ancient wisdom meets modern life. Today, we're diving deep into one of life's hardest but most essential lessons: the art of walking away from betrayal. Not every offense can or should be forgiven, especially when the damage goes beyond the surface. Betrayal changes your worldview, corrupts your ability to trust, and slowly chips away at your sense of worth. Stoicism doesn't encourage bitterness, but it demands boundaries. And today, we will explore the 3 kinds of betrayal that a Stoic must never tolerate. Betrayal 1. Disloyalty, the ultimate violation of trust. Loyalty is not a luxury, it's a necessity. In every meaningful relationship, loyalty forms the silent agreement, the unspoken commitment that says, "I've got your back, even when you're not looking." Without this bond, no amount of love, time, or effort can hold things together. Disloyalty, by its nature, is a form of emotional treason. It's not always loud or obvious. Sometimes it hides in the shadows, a whispered conversation, a half-kept promise, a subtle act of putting someone else above you in a moment that mattered most. But no matter how quietly it arrives, disloyalty leaves behind deafening silence and irreversible cracks in the foundation of connection. Imagine a friend who uses your vulnerability as gossip fuel, or a partner who becomes someone else's comfort behind your back, or a sibling who chooses their personal gain at your expense. In every case, the damage is deeper than the act, it's existential. Because betrayal from a stranger wounds your pride, but betrayal from someone close wounds your soul. The Stoics did not beg for loyalty. They observed it. They tested it by watching how people behave in your absence, how they speak of you when you're not around, how they act when they gain nothing in return. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." That's why, when disloyalty is revealed, the Stoic doesn't retaliate. He doesn't scream or plead or demand explanations. He simply walks away with composure, clarity, and calm. Because reacting emotionally to someone's betrayal gives them a second chance to hurt you. But what if they return? What if they apologize, cry, beg for another shot? You must understand, someone who chooses disloyalty once will likely choose it again, especially if the consequences were mild or non-existent. People learn how to treat you by watching how you respond. If you allow a betrayal to slide, you teach others that your loyalty is unconditional even when theirs is not. This is not about being cold or heartless. It's about being awake to the reality that not everyone who enters your life is meant to stay. Awake to the painful truth that some people are only loyal until it's no longer convenient. And awake to your responsibility to protect your energy and peace. Seneca once said, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." If someone's presence makes you feel uncertain, disrespected, or drained, they've already failed that test. Loyalty isn't proven by words or years. It's proven by actions under pressure. Let them go, not with hate, but with indifference. Because every moment you spend holding on to disloyal people is a moment you delay peace, growth, and the arrival of those who are truly loyal. Betrayal 2. Deception, the poison that corrodes connection. Deception is subtle. It rarely announces itself with a bang. It arrives as a whisper, a softened truth, a conveniently forgotten detail. But make no mistake, every lie, no matter how small, is an act of war against trust. While disloyalty may be a single act, deception is often a slow erosion. It chips away at your clarity, one untruth at a time. And in its wake, It leaves confusion, self-doubt, and emotional instability. In Stoic philosophy, truth isn't just a virtue, it's oxygen. It allows us to breathe clearly in our relationships. It allows us to walk through life without constantly looking over our shoulder. It grounds us. And when someone lies to you, they're not just breaking a rule, they're stealing your right to clarity. The worst part? Deceivers often don't see themselves as such. They justify their lies as protecting your feelings or avoiding drama. But the Stoic does not confuse peace with silence. He knows that truth, even when painful, is always more valuable than comfort built on illusion. When someone lies to you, it's not just the lie itself that hurts. It's what it says about how they view you. It says, "You are not worthy of the truth." It says, "I am willing to manipulate your perception of reality to suit my needs." And no healthy relationship can thrive under that message. Let's not romanticize dishonesty. A partner who lies about small things may one day lie about the big ones. A friend who conceals their intentions is preparing to act against you. A coworker who distorts the truth will eventually use it to protect themselves at your expense. One of the core teachings of Epictetus was this: first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. A Stoic demands truth not just from others, but from himself. And when someone else cannot offer you honesty, you must offer it to yourself. That honesty may sound like this: they are not trustworthy, they do not respect me, and I cannot build anything real with someone who lies. There's a dangerous belief that some lies are harmless, but even the smallest deception, when repeated, becomes a pattern, and patterns shape character. Lies don't just distort relationships, they transform people into strangers before your eyes. Seneca wisely wrote, "A dishonest man spreads falsehoods first to others, then to himself." People who lie often become entangled in their own stories. Eventually, they don't even know where the truth ends and the lie begins. And when someone no longer respects the boundary between reality and fiction, they cannot be trusted with your peace. You may be tempted to forgive. You may tell yourself, "They were under pressure," or "They didn't mean harm." But in doing so, you sacrifice clarity for comfort, and that's not a trade a Stoic ever makes. You don't confront a liar to change them. You confront them to protect yourself. And if that confrontation leads to denial, gaslighting, or more lies, let that be your answer. Do not stay in places where truth is optional. Do not engage in relationships where honesty is negotiable. And do not, under any circumstances, convince yourself that love can survive in the absence of truth. A Stoic does not chase liars. He doesn't plead for honesty from those who have already shown they are unwilling to give it. He simply sees the lie for what it is, a declaration of who they are, and walks away. Deception doesn't deserve your tolerance. It deserves your exit. Betrayal 3. Broken trust. The irreparable fracture. Trust. It is the most sacred currency in any relationship. Invisible, yet invaluable. Easy to lose, nearly impossible to restore. Trust is what allows us to lower our defenses, to open our hearts, to be seen in our most fragile state and still feel safe. When someone breaks that trust, it is not simply a mistake, it is an emotional earthquake. It shakes the very ground you thought was stable. And when the dust settles, things are never quite the same again. You see, trust is slow to build. It takes consistency, integrity, repeated acts of care, truth, and reliability. But it only takes one momentone careless action, one conscious betrayal for it to all come crashing down. Many people cling to the idea that trust can be repaired if the offender just tries hard enough. And while Stoicism believes in growth, it also teaches clarity. And clarity tells us this: some damages cannot be undone. Some betrayals leave a crack so deep that no apology, no gesture, no passage of time can make things whole again. Why? Because trust is emotional memory. Once broken, it turns every future interaction into a question. Is this real? Are they lying again? Can I believe what I feel? And those questions asked silently but constantly are a form of torment no one deserves to live with. Marcus Aurelius said, "When someone wrongs you, don't dwell on what they've done. Focus on what you can do in response." And what you must do in response to broken trust is simple. Protect yourself. That doesn't mean you carry hate. It means you carry wisdom. Would you drink from a cup that once held poison just because it's been washed? Would you build your home again on a foundation that already cracked beneath you once? Too many people are taught to forgive blindly, to give second chances out of guilt, pressure, or hope. But forgiveness without boundaries is self-abandonment, and the Stoic does not abandon himself. Trust is not just about what they did, it's about what they're capable of. And if someone has already proven they can lie, cheat, manipulate, or break their word, then your job is not to fix them. Your job is to fix your future by removing them from it. Seneca wrote, "He who spares the guilty punishes the innocent." If you allow someone who shattered your trust back into your life without deep, consistent change, you are not just risking your peace. You are punishing the version of you that believed in them in the first place. And here's the truth few will tell you. Even if they apologize, even if they cry, even if they change, you may never feel safe again. And that's okay. You're not heartless. You're just healing. And part of healing is knowing when to stop reopening the wound. A Stoic walks away not because he lacks love, but because he has self-respect. He knows that peace of mind is more valuable than years of history. He knows that loyalty, once betrayed, doesn't regenerate like a broken bone. Sometimes, it's just gone. So what do you do with broken trust? You learn. You grow. You rebuild, but not with them. You raise your standards. You build stronger boundaries. And you become someone who no longer accepts half-truths, broken promises, or shallow apologies. The greatest act of self-respect is to let go, not to get even, not to stay and suffer, but to walk forward with your head high and your heart guarded by wisdom. Final words. The Stoic response to betrayal, disloyalty, deception, broken trust. These are not misunderstandings. These are not mere lapses in judgment. They are conscious decisions that fracture the very foundations of what makes a relationship sacred. The Stoic does not waste energy trying to fix what others have willfully broken. He does not water dead flowers. He does not keep doors open for those who walked out on their own. He chooses peace, clarity, self-respect. Some betrayals deserve no second chance. Some people, no matter how much you love them, do not deserve access to your life once they've violated your trust. Your dignity must come before your desire for reconciliation, your clarity before your craving for closure. So if you've been betrayed, let this be your reminder. You do not need to forgive to be free. You do not need to reconcile to move forward. And you certainly do not need to keep someone in your life simply because you once called them friend, lover, or family. Let them go, not with hatred but with indifference. Because the Stoic doesn't cling to betrayal. He learns from it. He grows, and he never allows it to happen twice. If this message resonated with you, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to Stoic Blend, and share your thoughts in the comments. Together, let's continue walking the path of strength, self-mastery, and wisdom.